and welcome to Punchlines. I'm Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan, live here at the South Point Sportsbook, ladies and gentlemen. It is the best, and it's Christmas. We got our tree up out there, and the outside of the South Point Casino here in Las Vegas, just 8 miles down the street from all the action on the Strip. You come down here, this is the place to be. Trust me. The Christmas tree lights outside, the wreaths. I will do some footage of that. You guys have to see how beautiful it looks here. It's beginning to look an awful lot like Christmas. We welcome you to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This show is going to be cooler than a bunch of BMX guys flipping on their bikes at halftime at the Minnesota-Chicago Bear game last night. Did you see this, Ryan? I know your beloved Bears. Throw that BMX footage up. This is a good halftime show. I don't know how it ties into football or the Vikings or the Bears, but it's the BMX stunt team, and this was them at halftime. Now, that one right there, not that impressed. Ryan? What do you think? You impressed?
No, I'm not much of a BMX fan.
Now, what soared higher in the sky? Those bikes or all of Josh Dobbs' 4 interceptions last night?
Might have been Cairo Santos' kicks.
Cairo Santos with the game winner. That's your boy. 4 kicks last night, right?
Yep, the only 4
12-10
scores that the Bears had, yeah.
Now, listen, this is Ryan McCormick, our producer. You know he loves the Bears. He's a Chicago guy.
The Bears.
How ugly was it to watch that game last night?
Oh, yeah, it was brutal. I mean, I watched it from a hotel room with my girlfriend, or not a hotel room, a hospital room with my girlfriend.
Whoa.
But, yeah, it was not a fun one to watch.
I mean, it's just an ugly game. And again, I know everyone we've had come on this show that talks numbers, these primetime games, the under is the play on every primetime game.
Yep.
And you know me, Mr. Over, which we'll get to in a minute. I love overs. And last night, we were talking about I was thinking Minnesota, over 3 touchdowns. They got 1.
Yeah. I mean, if the Bears were halfway competent, they would have 3. They would have won 30-10. And
the Bears defense has only given up so many points in the past 4 or 5 games.
They've been one of the top defenses in the league.
They're playing well. But the offense just says, why do you haven't had a quarterback that you felt confident? I mean, Jim McMahon.
I'm confident in Justin Fields.
Okay.
I'm confident in Justin Fields. Get Luke Getsy out of town.
Yeah, you need an offensive coordinator. Take a cue from the Steelers and fire your offensive coordinator midseason. Because, look, it did wonders. It not only did wonders for the Steelers, statistically, but just the players.
Takes a weight off the back.
They know that this guy is calling juvenile high school plays. Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
14 of Justin Fields' completions last night.
Yeah.
More than half at or behind the line of scrimmage.
I saw that. I saw you post that chart, the spray chart, because it looked like a Kenny Pickett chart from a couple weeks ago.
So gross to watch.
And he's got a gun, and he ran. By the way, his over yardage, I had that.
Earlier that week, he had said that his best attribute was his deep ball.
Yeah.
And he threw 2 passes. Over 20 yards.
Yeah. Where
yesterday.
is it? Where's that? And that's the same thing with Kenny Pickett. Pickett always, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's accurate. And when they let him rip it a couple days ago, deep completion to George Pickens, deep to DJ. You got to air the ball out.
Yep.
Again, I don't know what coach said it, but there's 3 results, 2 of them in your favor: a completion, a penalty, or a drop or pick, whatever. It's throw the ball deep.
Do something. Spread the field.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, is November 28th. It's show number 35.
35.
Can you believe that? We made 35 shows. We appreciate everybody watching. What are our subscribers up to?
706.
Okay, we were 704 yesterday. We're climbing.
We've got a couple of live comments from a guy called Lucky Butt.
Yeah, this Lucky Butt. Lucky Butt, it's Lucky Butt? Is that 1 T or 2 T's?
No, it's actually the ASS. Yeah.
Lucky Bus.
Somewhat.
Lucky Bus.
With an A in the front.
What is that?
We're not spelling correctly.
What is this man's name?
It's Lucky Ass. It's a donkey.
Oh!
He probably
Ryan
looks like
loves
one
to
too.
swear, ladies. Get the cheese. Where's the cheese whiz? Mouthful of cheese whiz.
It's hiding.
Well, anyway, is he the one who wanted Kevin Belenkoff on the show, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I talked with Kevin yesterday. Kevin will be on soon. We're going to have a busy week this week. We got a lot of guests coming in, a lot of people videoing in.
Yep.
I think we're going to work Kevin in. We'll figure it out. But he's on standby. Don't worry, Lucky Butt. We'll get you on there. So it's show number 35, and when you hear the number 35, I always thought when I was a kid in school, they taught us there's only 2 requirements to run for president of the United States. You have to be a U.S.-born citizen, and you have to be 35 years old. So our show could run for president. What do you think? Punchlines for president.
Yeah. What would you stand on?
What would be my platform?
About 5 feet.
I'd stand about 5 feet. Oh, Ann, with the zinger from the rafters. She goes, what would he stand on? Oh, about 5 feet. Yeah, I would need a soapbox. That's why a lot of those old politicians stood in the soapboxes. My platform, it would be sports based. I mean, we do a sports show, we do a gambling show. Legalized sports gambling, really don't have to do that anymore. It's everywhere.
Well,
a lot of states.
Yeah.
We want to keep it here in Nevada mostly, so come here to the South Point. I would probably, I'd want robot umpires in Major League Baseball. That would be my presidential.
You want robot umpires?
I want robot umpires. Let's try them out. Let's give it a shot.
I'm okay with the ABS. I don't know about completely getting rid of umpires.
Well, no, not the strikes.
Yeah,
the strike zone.
The challenge system.
Strike zone. I don't want like Terminator 3 happening out there. What else would be my platform? Right now, if you're thinking of my presidential platform, you should be humming the theme, the presidential. Hail to the chief, the chief. That's from a movie. Anyway, full-time referees in the NFL. We got to get full-time guys that are working year-round.
Yeah.
Can't just have these Fortune 500 CEOs coming in and going, where am I this week, honey? Pepper, where am I this? Cleveland? All right, I'm flying to Cleveland to do the game. I mean, we need full-time guys.
Yeah. I mean, hard to do year-round because football's seasonal.
They're training. Get their asses in shape. Get their butts.
The XFL?
The XFL? Yeah, let them do something.
Yeah.
They should just be,
Should be cross-training.
All right. What else? In the NBA, I would make it illegal for teams to rest their star players for load management.
They need a real salary cap.
I need a real salary.
They need to stop paying fully guaranteed
Maybe
contracts.
I should have went with baseball. The salary. We need a salary floor. I'm more concerned about the salary floor for my Pittsburgh Pirates. And then what would you do for the NHL? Since the NHL is your thing, what would you do?
Fighting's good. I'd probably get rid of Gary Bettman and then probably give the players a little more freedom to wear what they want. Like the issue is
Marc-Andre Fleury, former Penguin, former Knight. Yeah, he wanted to wear a Native American mask that his wife is Native American, and they didn't allow him.
Nope.
That's really ridiculous.
And he did it anyway. Yeah, so he's going to get a fine. Yeah. Wild, they're going to get a fine.
And in Minnesota, which is it's a big community. Yeah, so good for Marc-Andre Fleury, Hall of Famer. And we're going to talk a lot of hockey today because we have a couple great guests today. Today on the show, I didn't even say he's live in Nashville. We'll be talking about the Penguins and Nashville Predators game tonight, making his third appearance on the show.
There we go.
He's the first one to get the hat trick. The Athletics' Josh Yohe.
Hattie for Yohe.
Yeah, Hattie for Yohe. Congratulations, Josh. He'll be on soon. He's in Nashville, so we're going to find out what he did last night. Maybe if he went out and got some good food. You don't know. We'll find out. And also in the studio at the end of the show, he's calling the UNLV basketball game versus Akron tonight on TV. It's our own Matt Neverett. Matt will be here to talk a little sports. Maybe we'll talk the Pac-12 championship, which has the town of buzzing. I saw an Oregon Ducks jersey this morning here, so I think the Ducks are migrating here.
Well, we get the one guy every weekend with the Ducks sign right outside the studio. He has like a puddle sign that says game day and everything.
Why is he never here on Punchlines? He's always here on Sports by the Book?
Yep.
Which is live today at 3 o'clock.
It's Tuesday, not
2 o'clock.
Today.
What day is today? Tuesday?
Today is all day.
What days are Sports by the Book off?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's Tuesday.
Sports by the Book, yes, is Thursday through Sunday. That is our sports show.
Yeah, he needs a day off. All right.
So
we got Josh and we got Matt Neverett. Let's go ahead and do Frank's Hot Takes. Let's roll the graphic. Let's hear Billy Gardell do his best Clint Eastwood impression. Open it up.
All right. Begin.
He sounds very like Palpatine from Star Wars. All right. Begin. Something dark side. All right, Billy, once again, thank you for doing that. By the way, there's a little rumor going around from Kevin Belenkoff. He and Billy are going to fly out sooner than later, come on the show live in studio.
Both of them together?
Think so, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know if that's going to happen in December, but Kevin said, me and Billy have been talking about it. We're coming out. So, Chris, get those rooms ready. They're coming. It's going to be awesome. Let's talk about a few things that happened. Let's talk about Nailed It or Failed It. Nailed it. Half a rack of ribs from Texas Roadhouse. Nailed that. That's Ryan's reaction every time I talk about Nailed It. He just goes, puh, puh. What did you eat last night? Hospital food? Jell-O? What'd you have?
No, we stopped at Burger King at like 10:30. Had some chicken fries.
Oh, God. As soon as you said Burger King, now what's in my head? BK, have it your way.
Whopper. All
right. Well, congratulations. Burger King solid. They used to have the bacon double cheeseburger. I don't know if they still have it. That was my favorite thing. When I was a comic on the road, that was a big meal. That was a big, the bacon. It was $4 for the combo meal, which now it's probably like $8. All right. So anyway, nailed it or failed it. Okay. So yeah, the Grand Salami. Now this is true. We really did this. I bet the Grand Salami here at the Sportsbook. By the way, you can get the Sportsbook, the South Point Sportsbook app. I do it on the app. I put a little cash on the Grand Salami. We had 6 games. You asked me yesterday when I was live in Los Angeles. Again, thank you everybody for covering and get me on the show in LA. I'm back for the rest of the year here. The Grand Salami, which I'm fascinated with. This is the combined goals in every game. And you asked me what's the over, and you thought I'd say 34 or whatever. But, it was, yeah. I said 38.5, and I nailed it, didn't I?
Spot on.
So now.
That you nailed.
I wrote Ryan, by the way, show 35. I said, I'm gonna go for the grand. By the way, 35, we didn't do jerseys. Should we do jerseys real quick?
We can do it right after this.
Okay, we'll do it after this. All right, so the Grand Salami. Let's set it up, ladies and gentlemen. I put some money on it. I did not look at any finals except for I did see the Florida Panthers, I think, beat Ottawa 5-0. So
yep.
I know I got about 5 goals in that game. Now this is going to be like game show. So put some Who Wants to Be a Millionaire tense music on right now.
I don't know.
Perfect. You can hear it in your heads, ladies and gentlemen.
Imagine it.
All right, I need 38.5
right.
goals, 6 games.
So 5-0.
Go
That Panthers
Okay,
Senators.
5-0. I got 5.
Okay. Sabres Rangers ended 5-1.
That's 6. So I'm up to 11.
Yep. Bruins Jackets ended 5-2.
7. So I got 18 goals.
Avalanche Lightning
Come on, Avs.
4-1.
Ooh, I was hoping for a bigger number. They're 23. 2 more games?
Golden Knights at Flames.
Okay.
Overtime. 2-1.
Oh. So that's only 2-1 is 26. What was the over-under?
38.5.
And how many more games do we have?
1.
Okay, so I need 13 goals in this game. Tell me
It's the Sharks.
It's the Sharks. They suck.
2-1.
2-1, so that's a total of 29 goals. So even if I would have
And
teased
the
it, still would have lost. Can you tease the Grand Salami?
I don't think so.
Damn it.
Yep. But the Sharks did get their 5th win, all at home.
No, I mentioned
say
that they
that
had 4
yesterday.
wins. I mentioned that yesterday from LA when I was live at South Point. That they actually they've been playing better. Oh, that always happens. They're gonna hit the peaks and valleys, ebbs and flows.
Yep. How it goes.
All right. Well, congratulations. It is show 35. That's a special day, a special number. Not really. I couldn't think of any 35s.
So,
Think of a number 35. So you make your collages. 34, we had in abundance. We had Earl Campbell.
The easy ones.
We had Walter Payton. You wore your jersey yesterday. You looked awesome. Shaq is wearing 34. Barkley, Giannis. Who do we have for 35? Let's see the collage.
KD.
That's it? Kevin Durant? And it's not. No, wait a second. He's wearing a I haven't seen it. He's wearing a South Point Studio shirt. Do we have like a pickup team? Do we have an intramural team here? I can play. I can point guard, ladies and gentlemen. Look, you're like, oh yeah. And after her height joke, 5 foot nothing. I can dish. I'm doing dimes. I'm Bob Cousy out there. That's right. I brought up a player from 80 years ago, Chris Andrews. Kevin Durant's really the only number 35, isn't he?
Not the only one. No, I did put together an actual
You
collage.
did an actual collage. All right, let's see what we got for 35. Probably a lot of hockey. There's not a lot of baseball. Not a lot of baseball 35s.
That's not true.
Okay, well, show me what you got. Oh, Verlander. All right. Oh, is that Phil Niekro?
Yep.
Is that Christian Okoye?
Yes, it is.
The Nigerian Nightmare. By the way, if you're of or around my age, the best player on Tecmo Bowl football, which was the early Madden, Christian Okoye was unbelievable. He couldn't be stopped. That's why I took the Chiefs to the Super Bowl and won it. Donnie baseball. Boy, was I off. Don Mattingly, man, right? Mattingly.
Frank Thomas.
What's that?
Christian Okoye, Frank Thomas, Phil Niekro, Kevin Durant, Tommy John.
What was Phil's last name?
Niekro? What did
Chris Andrews, are you hearing this?
Niekro?
Phil Niekro.
I didn't want to.
He's a knuckleballer. He went over 300 games. His last, by the way, if you can find it, his last win, Phil Niekro, knuckleball spat. He actually had a brother, Joe Niekro, too, who also pitched in the major leagues. Joe Niekro's claim to fame was he got caught with a file in his back pocket and he tossed it out. The umps came out to check his pocket and he went like this and threw it. And the one umpire's like, what the hell was that? He's like, oh, it's a file for my nails between innings. Yeah, he got busted. But Phil Niekro, when he won his 300th game, I think it was with the Yankees, and he looked like he was 75 years old. He did not age well. This guy did some hard living. But he also, I believe he's the only pitcher in history. He had a 20-win season and a 20-win loss the same year. He was like 21-20. Can we look, Matt Neverett, when you get a second, can you look up Phil Niekro? I believe he had a 20-20 season one year. And if you find a picture of him later or his last win against the Yankees, he looked 1,000 years old. But I love Phil Niekro. I saw him pitch in his knuckleball. Now, who's the old football player there? I got to plead stupidity on that.
So that is Felix Blanchard.
Oh, Felix Blanchard?
Yeah, Mr. Inside.
Now, why was he called Mr. Inside?
Well, they had Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. They had a running back tandem at Army. And
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he was Mr. Inside.
I've heard of that on old documentaries, and I love old footage of that when they run really fast because the speed's different. It's like, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, look at him run. Oh, look at him gallop, the galloping ghost. Yeah, and then the hockey player is at Belfour. No.
Tony Esposito.
Tony Esposito, the goalie for Chicago. Oh, okay,
Yep.
Chicago goalie. All right. I just immediately think Ed Belfour, and then you had Katie in the background, and then who's the White Sox? Is that Thomas?
Yeah, Frank Thomas.
The Big Hurt was 35. I wouldn't have got that. But you know what he's good for now? Nugenics. Yeah, and your girl will like it too. Yeah, Frank Thomas swung a mean bat, and with Nugenics, probably still swinging that bat. Okay, and Justin Verlander, probably the only shot ever of a 300-game winner in the pros. Probably the last guy.
So
I'm gonna need headsets. By the way.
Nycro did have a 2020 season in 1979.
Sorry, what's that?
Nycro's 20 win, 20 losses. Necro, sure. 2020 season was in 1979.
Yeah, right. There you go. I was 10 years old. I remember the back of the baseball card. 20 and 20 or 21 and 20? Something like that.
It says he's the only pitcher to win 20 and lose 20.
That's ridiculous. And again, talk about a record where that'll never happen again. That'll never happen again because 40 decisions, pitchers don't even get 40 starts. Right. But again, these guys, these knuckleballers could go out and throw it. Phil Niekro, I believe, has passed away, but he and his brother Joe Niekro, not Nycro. Jesus. But if you could pull up a picture of him on his 300th win with the Yankees, he looked like he was 75 years old. All right. We got to do a couple quick things here before we get Josh on. Let's see what else. Happy birthday to Jarvis Landry. Today, Jarvis Landry, happy birthday. This guy was a Pro Bowl wide receiver for Cleveland. And what other team did he play for? The Dolphins. What I found fascinating was this guy had more catches in his first 5 years than any receiver all time. He is born on 11/28/92, his 31st birthday. Also celebrating a 31st birthday today is actress, dancer, yoga instructor, future reality star, my girlfriend, Courtney Tyler. So happy birthday to Courtney. It's her birthday. She's the exact same age as Jarvis Landry.
Happy birthday, Courtney.
Happy birthday, Courtney. We'll do the dog thing. We'll do the dog thing later at the end of the show. But Jarvis Landry, yeah, they're saying Cleveland might sign him or Kansas City might sign him. I can't believe he was a free agent. He's out there. Jarvis Landry. So, but when you think Jarvis, don't you think Iron Man? That was like his technical...
Yeah, that does make sense.
And it stood for something. It was like, it's really simple.
I can't remember.
God, I looked it up last night and I forgot. Anyway, if you know what it is, Bob Del Pizzo, if you're watching, why don't you chime in with one of your many nerdy comic book things that you know. Christian Hansen, if he's watching, he probably knows too. All right, last night in Florida, we're going to end. Oh, no, I failed the Laker bet. The Lakers last night. I had the Lakers plus 40 last night. Did they cover? No. LeBron James' worst loss in his career. Worst loss. I mean, they looked bad. Did you watch any of that game?
I did not know. I was watching the Bear game.
You're watching the Bears game. Yeah, well, Philly was scoring a lot. There was a lot of scoring in that game, no scoring in that game. You had to kind of find the middle. But LeBron, worst. I mean, my God.
I did see that Embiid and Tyrese Maxey each scored 30 for like the fourth or fifth time this year.
Yeah.
So that's the top scoring.
Is it Phillies? They got rid of Harden, so we'll see. I don't know. All right, last but not least, we're going to do a hockey story. We got that. There was a pretty good brawl last night. We got the brawl last night. Why don't you set this up, Ryan, since you're the hockey guy?
Well, so 90 seconds into the game, the Panthers score on a power play, go up 1-0. Then second period, another power play, they score on an offsides.
Okay.
That Ottawa challenges, ruled a good goal. Okay. So it's another power play on the opposite side. So goes from 1-0 to 2-0, another power play. They score 30 seconds in, 3-0. Okay. And then it starts getting chippy. All right. Where players are like running into the Ottawa goalie or they're just chipping into each other.
That, yeah.
And then
all hell broke loose.
Yeah, in the third period, Tkachuk gets out of the box.
Here it is.
Yep.
Here's the one where he takes a little kick, a little swat, and then fisticuffs. And you're all for this in hockey. Yeah. Now, we're going to go to our hockey guy any second now, right after this. But what makes this legendary is the call by the ref, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of the greatest calls. Josh, I'm sure you saw this. We're going to bring him in 1 second. But, okay, it's going to heat up again.
Yeah, it's going to show a replay of the what happened, why this whole thing started.
Yeah.
They ruled him for goaltender interference on the back half of this. So after the shot, right there's the interference.
Yeah.
And then everything starts.
And you know what's funny or disturbing? Right banging on the glass was like a 10-year-old girl. Like, yeah, did you see her? Like, she's just like, blood.
2 minutes for goaltender interference, 2 minutes for roughing. Florida, number 12, has 2 minutes for roughing. And then every player on the ice has a 10-minute misconduct. Florida will have
Every player on the ice. He started listing numbers, and he's like, screw it. Let's just group on it. We'll put them all in one. There you go. Legendary call. Do we have the Ben Dryden call? Because it made me think of Ben Dryden.
No.
Ben Dryden, come on. Ben Dryden in the NFL, the best call of all time. Marty Lyons, I believe, for the 1986, Marty Lyons sacked Jim Kelly, and he was down there punching him a little. And Ben Dryden, the greatest call, which I know we're
that one.
yeah. Do we have it?
We should.
Okay, we should have it.
Oh, is that the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the NFL. Ben Dryden.
Not the newer one.
Not the newer, not the Ron Perry one. Anyway, he says he was down there. He was giving him the business. There it is. Here it comes. All right. We'll show this, and then we'll get Josh in. Josh, my apologies for a couple of minutes, buddy. All right, so Marty Lyons, they incorrectly said 99, which was Mark Gastineau. Gastineau and Joe Klecko, Marty Lyons, New York Sack Exchange when I was a kid. Here it is. Best call ever.
After he tackled the quarterback, he's giving them business down there at the 15-yard penalty.
He's giving him the business. It's the greatest call in history. I'm sorry, I love that. All right, let's bring in our special guest who's laughing hysterically, and the beard is coming in gloriously. The one and only from The Athletic. It's got over 100,000 subscribers on Twitter. The man's a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Penguin superfan, Pittsburgh guy, and fellow member of the Chase, Josh Yohe. Josh, I saw you laughing there off camera at that. Is that the best call?
It is. It reminded me of, did you ever see the movie Necessary Roughness with Sinbad?
Of course.
When the refs started doing like a ninja kick, like trying to show exactly what happened.
Wait,
then
wasn't it?
Out to hell with the first down.
Right. That was, I was friends with Rob Schneider back then, and he was the announcer, right? Fumbalaya.
Yeah.
He shot all those scenes, shot them all in one day, and got like $85,000 or something, you told me.
Oh, that's why he's Rob Schneider and we're not. But that's good. By the way, one birthday to add. I heard you giving birthdays.
Yeah.
The great Marc-Andre Fleury is 39 today.
It is not the Flowers' birthday. We were just talking about him because we were talking about how he wasn't allowed to wear the Native American mask, and he said, screw it, I'm wearing it anyway. Right. 39 years old. Now, the Penguins, there was rumors before he went to the Wild, the Penguins might try to get him back. You're the inside guy of the Pens. Was there any validity to that? Or, I mean, it was just hopeful thinking?
Not really. Yeah. I don't think Ron Hextall or Kyle Dubas have ever been interested. I think had Jim Rutherford still been around, Jim kind of liked bringing back guys. Maybe it could have happened in an alternate universe, but I don't think it was ever really close to happening from what I've been told.
Now, are you excited? I mean, it's going to be cool later when they're going to retire Yager's number. It's been a long time coming, right? 68 is going to be up in the rafters. You're going to be there for that, obviously. And what's your relationship with Yager over the years?
I never covered him when he played in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I was just a kid watching him play then. I forget how long he's been playing for, but I've certainly interviewed him a few times over the years when he would be with different teams. I don't know if I'd say I have much of a relationship with him, but I've talked with him before. He's one of the most interesting people I've ever met. Wow. You get Yager in a good mood. He is funny. He is charming. You get him in a bad mood. You just never know with him. He's one of those people, but I've always been fascinated by him and the city of Pittsburgh. Still, even the younger generation of fans, I call them the Crosby era fans.
Yeah.
Yager's the one guy. Like, they like hearing Yager stories. They like reading about him. There's just this fascination with him that kind of lingers. So that's going to be an amazing weekend in Pittsburgh on February 18th, which is really cool because it's the Sunday after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And for sports fans, that's an incredibly depressing time. We're like, oh, God, it's our first Sunday with no football for 6 months. What do we bet on? What's going on? Oh, Yager's getting his number retired. That's cool. So at least it's something for us to look forward to.
They were thinking on that one. It's a good thing they didn't do it a week earlier. Yeah, exactly. Good job, Penguins. So listen, Ryan, our producer, is a big hockey fan, and we looked at your Twitter. And by the way, can we talk about your Twitter bio? Your Twitter bio is wonderful. Sure. And you got 100. So Penguins beat writer, which we know. Sacramento Kings fan, which has been a thankless job. That's been tough. Replay challenges are killing sports. I love my kids. Al Bundy, ice cream, and 90s music. That is a good bio right there. What's 90s music? What do you like? Because I listen to the 90s channel on Sirius all the time.
Oh, do you? Nothing too wild. I like my Nirvana, my Smashing Pumpkins, my Pearl Jam, whatever. I'm a 90s kid.
I like hearing guitars. Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. If that's old fashioned, so be it. I like even some of the old 80s stuff I like too, but I tend to enjoy the 90s music quite a bit. I've seen every episode of Married with Children so many times, it's actually really embarrassing. I don't watch shows. Like, there's no modern day shows that I really watch. I just watch like movies and documentaries if I have time to watch TV. But I'll turn on the old Al Bundy clips.
That's
which
excellent.
I don't know if that show could, but I certainly enjoyed it at the time.
No, you watch clips from that and you watch clips from All in the Family. None of those shows could have ever aired again now. And by the way, The Office, I don't even think the Steve Carell, the Michael Scott era Office, a lot of that stuff wouldn't even be able to make it. There's actually an episode of The Office that's not on Peacock or whatever that you can't get anymore because a costume there's a costume that Dwight was wearing. He had face paint on it. They can't show it. So it's a different era. But Al Bundy, how many touchdowns did he score in that game? Was it 4 or 5 or 6?
That would be 4 touchdowns, 1 game. Yes, and he was I don't know if he was Ed O'Neill was either drafted or signed by the Steelers.
He was in camp with the Steelers.
Early 70s. I know you're running back with Franco and some of the other running backs. Rocky Blyer was on my flight to Nashville yesterday, by the way, which was a little
number 20. Rocky Blyer. You know, I met him at a comedy show I did in Pittsburgh. It was a benefit that DVE did, the radio station, and to meet Rocky Blyer, man, that's really a cool thing because when I was a kid, I was allowed to stay up late a handful of nights a year. I could stay up late to watch when James Bond movies were on, like ABC. So that was 9 to 11. I could stay up when the Oscars were on, but I'd never make it. I'd always fall asleep. So my dad or mom would fill out the little TV guide page that had a ballot, and I'd wake up and look. And I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back did not win Best Picture. Chariots of Fire won, and I was furious. I was like, Chariots of Fire, movie's about running, British running. It's stupid. Good theme song though. But I was allowed to stay up to watch Fighting Back, which was the Rocky Blyer TV movie that Robert Urich, who played Dan Tana in Vegas, Robert Urich, who's done a lot, played Rocky Blyer, and it was about how he was in Vietnam and, lost, shell went off and damaged his foot. They said he'd never play football again. And I got to stay up and watch that. Everyone in school the next day was talking about it. And I remember there was a scene where Robert Urich's running along the river there in the cement outside of Three Rivers, and the real Rocky Blyer runs by him. And I was like, there's Rocky Blyer. So it was like they gave Rocky a little cameo like they did for Rudy and Rudy at the end when he's in the stands. But yeah, Rocky
Nicest
Blyer.
guy in the world.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, he really is.
And when I was a kid, he was an anchor, sports anchor on Channel 11. So I remember he was also, Yeah. So you're in Nashville. Is that a Nashville hotel you're in?
It is. Yes. Welcome to the Courtyard Marriott in downtown Nashville.
That's pretty swanky.
It's very cold here. It's incredibly cold here, by the way. Used to it being cold in Nashville. It threw me off when I got off the airplane. Like, I really should have looked at my phone to see what the temperature.
But you got the beard coming in. How many weeks growth is that?
Boy, I don't keep track. It's about time to shave though, because like Thanksgiving the other day, my mom was just staring at me. I said, "Mom, what?" She said, "You look. Shave that thing." So I'm like, "All right, relax." Jesus. All right.
Now I can only get like a shadow, and this is my mom's subtle hint when I'm visiting in Pittsburgh. She'll go, "Did you forget to bring your razor?"
Yep.
like, no, Mom, I have it, but this is what the cool people do nowadays. I don't know.
Right.
So what do you do?
Mom.
Yeah, what do you do in Nashville? Are you a big food guy? Do you hit the food, or what'd you do last night?
I enjoy the barbecue quite a bit.
Yeah.
Nashville, great town for that. I must be a real loser because I took time out of my night to watch the Bears and Vikings.
Oh my God.
And it's awful. I was at the morning skate today. Jake Gensel, big Vikings fan. I said, "What the hell was that?" And he looked at me and said, "I don't want to talk about it." And he just kept walking. Like, well said, Jake. I mean, that was a horrible football game. I always go to the Johnny Cash Museum. The Johnny Cash Museum is very cool. I always get a kick out of that.
Way.
So I'll probably do that. I'll do that before my flight tomorrow, probably. I always enjoy it's right in downtown Nashville. Always a good time. It's a cool city because there's nowhere else like Nashville. Like when you're here, you know where you are. There's nothing else like it, whether you like it or you don't. It's a very unique place.
Yeah, it really is. I love Nashville, and just all the bars and the music scene is phenomenal, right? Yeah. So it's really, and the food. So Nashville, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. All right, let's get to some hockey. And I know Ryan and Matt, everyone's talking about what you posted on Twitter, what everyone's posting on Twitter. And, Ryan, you're a diehard Chicago Blackhawks fan, correct?
That I am.
And what would you like to talk to Josh about or get his input about?
Well, the Hawks released a statement saying that they were putting Corey Perry on waivers because he engaged in conduct that is unacceptable and in violation of both terms of standard players contract and the Blackhawks internal policies.
All right, so Josh, what do you? I saw you post about this. It's everywhere. What do you know? But what's going on there? I know we're all laughing because we all know. I don't know where we've seen it, but I don't know how much we can talk about it. But what exactly is going on with this?
Yeah, there's a rumor out there.
Okay, a rumor. We'll say it's a rumor.
I'm going to assume it's not true. The Blackhawks certainly could have protected their 18-year-old superstar a little better in the way they worded that statement that was just read. That's just going to get the rumors flying even more. I can tell you just from personal experience and from knowing a lot of people in the league, Corey Perry's not a very well-liked guy. And in my dealings with him, I certainly never cared for him much. He's just got an abrasive way about him that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Obviously a great player for a long time. But boy, what a mess. And the Blackhawks, boy, they've been through it the last couple of years with off the ice issues. And this is, of course, another. And
same kind of theme too.
Yeah, same kind of theme. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what he did, but that statement they released, he must have done something pretty bad. His teams don't just say stuff like that about players. That was a very unusual thing to see.
Okay, let's see here. Just on the phone today, look at my text. Text me real quick.
I can't repeat any of them, but they were really funny.
Yeah. And that already got 23,000 views right there. Yeah. So if you want to do a deep dive at home on your own and find out what possibly the story is right there, we can talk about that.
I'll text you the information.
I mean, I've hated Corey Perry since the Hawks dynasty started when he was in Anaheim.
Okay.
And then went to Tampa, and I didn't like the signing in general, and now so much worse.
Now you're really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who's picking up Connor who's going to be picking him up for a ride home at the rink now?
Not Corey.
Okay. So let's talk some Penguins action. The Penguins play tonight in Nashville. How'd they look in the morning skate? What's your take on the game tonight? What do you think?
Everyone was in a good mood. The Penguins are 10-10, which I think is a pretty accurate summarization of how they played.
Yeah.
They've been really down. They were very good in their last game against Toronto. I like the Penguins tonight, actually. Even though Nashville has been better than expected, their roster certainly isn't very impressive. I just think the Penguins are better on paper. They always seem to play pretty well in this building. They like playing here. And obviously some good memories. They won the Cup here in 2017. But aside from that, they just typically play very well in this building. And that win they had Saturday against Toronto was one of their more complete performances of the season. And I think it left them feeling pretty confident. So I have a good feeling about the Penguins tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the game for sure. They just, like you said, they're 10-10, and that's about what they've looked like, right? They looked like a 500 team. And and then the Golden Knights, Ryan wanted to talk about the Golden Knights too.
They're playing Edmonton tonight.
They're playing Edmonton tonight, so that's a back-to-back for them tonight.
Yep.
And the Golden Knights right now 14-5-3. They came out of the gate. What were they unbeaten there, Ryan, for the first 10 games or something, 10 or 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously they're leveled off, just like the Sharks have actually won a few games. Ryan's always, do you have a Golden Knight question specifically about the Golden Knights or just in general, Ryan?
Not specific. Well, I mean, they've kind of gone cold the last 10 games, really.
Yeah.
Josh, in your point of view, do you think that they've been competitive and that they can keep playing the way they are and it'll somehow turn around, or is it something that they need to make a move and make a change?
Who, Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, you're going to cool off a little bit when you start the season the way they did. Same with Boston.
Right.
I think Boston's lost 3 in a row for that ridiculous start they had. Now, Vegas is really good. They know they're going to make the playoffs. They know somebody's going to have to beat them 4 out of 7 this spring. I'm sure they'll probably make a move at some point. You can always use another piece here or there. I saw them in person about a week and a half ago in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins actually handled them pretty easily. And I only bring that up because that was the second night of a back-to-back, and I didn't think Vegas had any juice at all that night. And now they've got to play again on a second night of a back-to-back. Maybe that's an issue for them against an Edmonton team that has been horrible. But McDavid just had a 5-point game. They might be starting to heat up a little bit. So that might be a tough one for the Knights because Edmonton just going to be desperate every night they play right now because of how they started.
Yep.
So I love that the Vegas Knights lost in Pittsburgh on a back-to-back because you always hear stories about teams that are playing here in Vegas like, oh, they're going to go out all night, man. They're going to come out flat. Vegas has that home ice advantage. And then is there a Pittsburgh home ice? Are people out? Are they out in the Strip District till late? The Knights, they're like, oh, man, I'm going to stay up till like 10. Bars and Downtown Pittsburgh? Are you kidding? Everything closes up at 9. But last time I was in Pittsburgh, you cannot find food to eat in downtown Pittsburgh after 9 p.m.
No, it's a real problem. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yes.
It's been ever since COVID. The Eaton Parks are all closed at 10. It's awful. It's absolutely an issue. But it's funny, the whole Vegas thing. I always try to tell people, these guys are millionaires. If they want to go to Vegas for a couple weeks in July, they can.
Yeah.
They can go party.
Yeah. Do it
They
then.
actually don't need. Just one night in November is not a big deal to those guys. It didn't. Now, for these guys, now you remember the former Penguin and Knights defenseman Derek Engeland.
Yeah.
Played for the Penguins a long time ago. He played, I think it's the Wranglers. Was that the minor league team in Vegas? And he told me
they're saying yes and saying yes.
Once upon a time, he played for that team. It was like 15 years ago. And he told me, and I looked it up, and it was true. There was one season they went 38-2-1 at home. I said 38-2-1. He said, yeah, because minor league guys, that's the only time they'd ever beat a Vegas. He said we weren't even any good, but we just were unbeatable at home. I said, wow, I didn't believe him. I looked it up and it was true. So, but the NHL guys not quite as much.
Yeah, or you said they can come and spend a couple weeks here in July, or if you're Yarmy Yarger, just take the whole summer here.
Right. Oh, yeah, I told you that story last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yags is a Vegas guy. That's just the way it is.
And one, a story like that, an entertainment story that I liked, a Vegas entertainment story. One of my favorite stories is a Dean Martin. It's a Rat Pack story, and this one's not out there a lot, but I've heard this is, I don't know if it's embellished, but they're all embellished probably to a point. But Sinatra and Dean Martin and the whole Rat Pack's out drinking, and Dean Martin has a big golf outing the morning. I might have been even like a Dean Martin tournament or something. He's like, I got to get to bed. Blah, blah, blah. That was Bing Crosby, but you get my Dean Martin. I need to have a drink in my hand. Anyway, there we go. Hey, Pally. Oh, you got to have that wasn't bad. Hey, Pally. That's what he called Jerry Lewis, Pally. Anyway, so Dean Martin wants to go play. He wants to go to bed and play golf, and Sinatra is like, do. That was my son. I can't do impressions, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so Sinatra's like, no, come on, Dean, you got to stay. The party's still going. Dean's like, I'm going to bed. He goes up to the hotel. He's in bed. And there's a knock at the door, pounding at the door. Dean Martin's trying to ignore it. He can't ignore it. And he opens the door, and there's a prostitute. There's a woman. There's a female there. And Dean's like, what's going on? Everything okay? And she goes, well, Frank Sinatra hired me to keep you up all night so you wouldn't be able to play your golf tournament, or you'd play really horrible. And Dean Martin looks at her and goes, well, how much did he pay you? And she goes, he paid me $500. And he goes, here's $1,000. Tell him I was great. And shut the door. So I don't know if it's true, but it's a great story. Like, here's $1,000. Tell him I was great.
Like it is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whether it's true or not, it's a great line. I love it. Now the Vegas trip. Now the Penguins are coming out here in January. I know our buddy Bill Neofis will be coming out. You'll be here for Vegas. What do you like to do when you're in Vegas? Where do you stay? Where do you stay in Vegas? Courtyard?
I usually stay at MGM.
Okay.
And Bill usually stays there too.
He loves the MGM. Yeah, he does. He loves it down there.
He also loves Carrot Top. And not only does he always get us tickets to see Carrot Top, that's not good enough. It's always in the front row. Always. I said your admiration for the orange hair man is unbelievable. So we sit in the front row for Carrot Top.
You know what? You just outed him on national TV that he goes Carrot. Now, by the way, Carrot Top, the guy's been around forever. I used to do a lot of colleges, and there was this college convention called NACA, National Association of College Artists. And you had to submit and go there, and then you'd perform, and then you'd walk around this convention hall, and you would be bought. So you'd stand, and they would come up and go, "Yes, sold." But you were funny. We'll take you. And then they try to get to with other colleges and book you 3 out of 5 nights. So if you could get a 3 out of 5 in West Virginia, you'd do Shepherd College, Southwest West Virginia. So you do these, and Carrot Top was always there. And I remember, he would just destroy it. College kids loved him. And, he's gone on to Vegas, and the guy's a bazillionaire, and he does great. But Bill loves him. And now Bill was out here, a couple months ago when I first started Punchlines. It's like, hey, listen, we're going to go to dinner this one night. I go, great. And he goes, you want to go see Carrot Top? So this must be a thing. I don't know. He really wanted to go. He's like,
it's noteworthy how early he gets the tickets in advance. The man texted me right after the NHL schedule was out, hey, big news. I'm like, what? He's like, got the Carrot Top tickets already. You bring your girlfriend out? I'm like, yeah. And of course, my girlfriend likes to take the Vegas trip. I don't think she's a big Carrot Top fan. So
right.
I told her hey, honey, we got to see Carrot Top. And she just kind of looked at me. I said, just don't knock it until you try it.
Listen, when Bill comes out here, we're getting Carrot Top. I want to go see Carrot Top with Bill, and I just want Bill to be like, I've seen this one before. I know this bit. I know this one coming. But, I mean, it's all – listen, Carrot Top, he's funny. I'll admit I've laughed at Carrot Top when he used to come on Letterman, and Letterman would have him on to kind of tease at what he did, but Letterman would still laugh. Like, I'll never forget the first one I remember him. He had like a one of those plastic batting helmets with a chain over the face. He goes, I take this to baseball games. Wherever I sit, I feel like I'm behind home plate. I just thought that was, I just thought that was the funniest joke ever. And Carrot, well, we'll have to get some Carrot Top. So what else do you like to do in Vegas when you come out? I know you're only here for a day. You're in and out. But besides Carrot Top, is there anything in particular?
We have the gambling apps on our phone now.
Yep.
So you can gamble pretty much anywhere, certainly in the state of Pennsylvania. But there's still something special about being in a Vegas sports book.
Gotta sit at the tables, go to the book. Yeah.
There's a different energy to it, which I enjoy. So I don't really have any staple restaurants. Now, I will say Mark Madden, who's a very well-known sports talk show host in Pittsburgh.
Polarizing.
He always makes the trip. Polarizing is a great word for Mark. And he and I often he loves the Golden Steer. That's his favorite restaurant in Vegas. So we always go have steak at the Golden Steer as well.
Yeah, it's in the Strat?
Right by the Stratosphere.
Right by the Stratosphere. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So we usually do that, but you know how it is. It's Vegas. There's so many different places to try out that I like to get around and see it all.
There's a place right down here from the Strip, and it's called, I have to Google it. It's called Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse. And I'm telling you, they have like a whole Australian theme. And they have this toss an onion. What do they call it? It's
bloomin'.
A bloomin' onion. I don't remember. I've only been once. And
to each location in town.
There's more than one? Oh, is there more than one?
There's several.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm just saying. I know you're like, listen. If you want the finest steak, you got to come. The South Point. You and Bill will come down to the South Point. We'll go to Silverado Steakhouse. Is amazing here. It's really good. We took Denny Nagel there. Right. Yeah, we'll take all our contributors there when they're in town. If you want, we'll go to the Silverado. Chris, I just volunteered that.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, it's great. Everything's great.
Took Denny Nagel. Denny Nagel, that's impressive.
Well, Denny came in and he did 3 days in studio for the World Series because I've known Denny since his rookie year. We got to be friends, and he sends me the most vile memes every day. It's great. And he came in. He's like, I'll fly in. He goes, got him a room here, and he did the show 3 days. He brought in Greg Vaughn, who had 50 homers when he played with them with the Reds, and he brought in Marty Cordova, and we interviewed Tom Glavine. We had a Hall of Famer on the show. Tom Glavine, also a hell of a hockey player, was drafted ahead of 2 Hall of Famers.
Drafted by the LA Kings.
By the LA Kings. He was drafted ahead of Robitaille and Hall. Was that it? I think the 2 players. Yeah, and he never lets them forget it. He says anytime he sees them, he always reminds them, I was drafted ahead of you in the NHL.
I would do the same. I don't blame him, but that's a pretty impressive list. I'm just honored you have me on the show.
Listen, I don't know if you heard in the intro, you're our first three-peat. You got the hat trick.
Oh, yeah, that's a natural hat trick.
It's a natural hat trick.
No, I can't wait to see you out there. And it's great. The Penguins play there January 20th.
Yeah.
But they like to acclimate to the time zone, so they're coming out a day early to practice. That's why they're coming.
Right.
I'll be there a couple of days early to prepare for said practice. So
yes, and
this all works out.
What's that?
Does Josh want to be in studio?
Yeah, and Josh, if you want to come in, you and Bill should come in together. If you have the time and we can work it out, we'd love to have you in studio, and then maybe we could grab some food.
The 20th is a Saturday.
Oh, the 20th is a Saturday.
So the days before, the 18th, the 19th would be Friday.
If you get in early enough on Friday.
I could do that. I get in Thursday, so I could make.
Okay, there you go. Oh, Friday. We're booking it. But the 19th, he's booked. The first quad, the first 4-timer. You'll be in the 4-timer club by yourself. That would be phenomenal. And then, I guess Friday night we squeeze in Carrot Top. Is that how that's going to go with Bill?
Yeah, I think it's already arranged, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And you know what's great? The Penguins play their next game is a Monday in Arizona, so they're off on Sunday, so I'm just staying in Vegas until Monday and then just flying to Phoenix that morning. So
there you go. And by the way, we're in a football. Josh and I don't know. I had a 3-week spin. I was only 1 game out of first place in the Chase, which our buddy Bill runs the Chase. And I know you and we've talked about this a couple years ago, came down to the final game, and I defeated you by 1, which I brag about that. The writer from The Athletic, I beat him. But now I'm in Vegas, and I was doing really well. I had this last week with all favorites kind of hurt everybody, right?
Yeah, I had a bad couple of weeks actually. I was running my mouth last time I was on your show. I've since fallen behind the pack a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a good Thanksgiving. Thank you to the Niners and Cowboys for that little over under money line parlay.
Nice.
That worked out great. So for my Black Friday shopping, then I took it on the chin on Sunday, as it sometimes happens.
Yep.
But
I had
the NFL, man.
Yeah, it's and the NFL's and by the way, this past week started off rough because everyone had Detroit, everyone had the Lions, and then Green Bay comes out and just squashes them, and you're like, oh god, it's going to be one of those weeks. But then the two late games on Thanksgiving played out, and then the Dolphins, of course, crushed the Jets.
I don't recall the last time the league had this many bad or mediocre teams. It's and I don't recall how many over-unders have we seen that are like 33, 34, 35.
Unbelievable.
It's certainly that way a few years ago. It's crazy how down scoring is right now.
And the Steeler over. So let's talk about the Steelers while we got you before we let you go. Steelers are here at South Point, where I think the line is still 5.5, and it's 40.5. So the Steelers are hosting. We're hosting the Cardinals. Kyler Murray. They were a mess against the Rams, so we hope coming across the time zones and the Steelers can keep it going. But how do you explain the Steelers? I mean, obviously the coaching changed with Matt Canada. The attitude of these players, they only put 16 points on the game. They should have had more. I mean, if they appealed that DJ touchdown. But what's the vibe when you're in Pittsburgh and you're hearing about the Steelers and the players? I don't know if you have any association with the players, but I mean, my God, they were like throwing a party in the locker room like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Canada was a very popular man, and he's never been very well liked anywhere he's been. That was a weird game Sunday because they won, 16-10, but you never felt like they were going to lose that game.
Yeah,
they were in control of that.
Yeah,
they just don't know how to score. So even though they had over 400 yards, it's still a challenge. But everyone seems happy that he's gone, I guess, and they did look better. I certainly like it. See, I think Arizona's a little dangerous just because of Kyler.
Yeah.
Like, you're the Steelers and you just can't score.
Yeah.
Like, that's a guy that can make a couple of highlight reel plays and they could get 20 points. Who knows?
They got to have a spy on him for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. But I like the Steelers a lot this week.
I do
and
too.
It's amazing. They've got Arizona, then home to New England Thursday, 4 days later.
I know.
They're probably going to be 4, which is amazing.
And then after that, they got the Colts, who are not an easy game. It's a winnable game.
No.
I mean, can the Steelers go? Can they 10-4? Good buddy. Can they go 10-4? Can they be? Can they be?
Home to the Bengals the week after that, so they're going to be probably 10-5 at worst.
And their season over was like
they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, their season over was like 7.5 or 8. So I'm on that. I'm on the season over ticket. I got that here at South Point.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. And tonight, I want to talk the hockey line. The Penguins are pretty much like even. What do we have them here at South Point? Are they like 110? I think the Penguins.
It is -115 for the Penguins, -105 for Nashville.
Okay.
And then the over/under has juice on the under.
Okay.
6.5.
And what's the Grand Salami? I might have to do the Grand Salami. I'm such a sucker, Josh. The Grand Salami. I love it.
64.5.
64.5. It went way under last night. Maybe I'll do it again, Ryan, and we can reveal. Maybe I'll do it again tomorrow. But Josh, listen, I really appreciate it. I'll see you when you come out here for sure. There's the Grand Salami, 64.5. Josh, again, our first triple guest, our first hat trick. And you always bring it. You're always insightful. You're always funny. Love having you on the show. And I will see you in a couple months. You're coming out. We're going to Carrot Top. Carrot Top for everybody.
Can't wait. It's an honor as always.
Oh, please.
And I like Penguins. Penguins and under tonight as well. I like it.
I like it. You heard it straight from Josh Yohe. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back with Matt Neverett. Josh, thank you.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
So you think because the steakhouse is in their name that the Outback only has steaks, but they have chicken. There's fish. I mean, this place, you guys got to come to Vegas and hit this place. It's amazing. Now, if you're going to have a steakhouse, come here to the South Point. I've been fortunate enough to go twice. We have the Silverado. We also have Michael's, which I'm not allowed in.
We also have the Prime Rib restaurant.
Prime Rib restaurant, Mexican restaurant, Steak and Shake, hot dog car. We have 11 restaurants you can eat at here at the South Point. And by the way, speaking of eating, we'd like to thank for watching the show once again in Trafford, Pennsylvania. We got Dominic's. Dominic's is watching the show. They put us on live in Pittsburgh. Trafford is, Jimmy Vaccaro's hometown. So thank you to Dominic's for watching the show. And then here in Vegas, we got Steiner's. Have you been to Steiner's?
I have not.
I'm going to come to Steiner's. And then my favorite name of any bar, the Oasis. It's not Oasis. It's Oasis. Oasis. I'm going to stop by. We appreciate you guys having on the show live. We love talking Gold Knights. We love everyone in Vegas that helps us out. So thank you to Dominic's. Thank you to Steiner's, and thank you to Oasis. And I'm going to stop by and film a little open at these places later this week or soon. So we'll see some video of the place, and I'm going to go have a little fun. But we appreciate you watching the show live, helping our subscribers get up to over 700. And this gentleman is always here helping out, and he loves coming on the show. And he's got a busy night tonight. Matt Neverett, you got to follow him on Twitter. Good stuff. And you have a busy night tonight. You will be calling the UNLV Akron game.
Yeah. Running Rebels making their return. Coming back from a 3-game road trip last week, defeated Pepperdine and then lost both games that they played at the Sunshine Slam in Daytona. I love the names.
Sunshine Slam.
It sounds like like a wrestling event.
It does.
But it was
totally does.
It was at a venue in Daytona Beach that had held plenty of wrestling events. So I'm sure that they had seen some off the top ropes.
No, wait. They lost to Pepperdine or beat Pepperdine?
They beat Pepperdine, and I've seen Pepperdine twice. They're not very good this year.
But here's the thing with Pepperdine. If you go to school at Pepperdine, not a lot of incentive to do anything, but you're right in Malibu by the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
It's a beautiful campus. It's like, hey, man, are we playing hoops today? All right, we'll try to win, but might go catch some waves later. I mean, it's just my friend Mike O'Day, his son goes there, and it's unbelievable campus.
I was fortunate enough when they went, I was actually engineering the game on the radio side, so I was at the campus. And I was floored. It's up at the top of the hill.
Yes.
You're overlooking the Malibu beach, and it's a really cool drive, even like through the canyons getting there.
Yeah.
We were coming
You
from
come Topanga? You do Topanga
yeah,
maybe?
we stayed in Thousand Oaks, so we just kind of came right through there.
T.O. Yeah, it's the home of Jack Wilson, by the way, former Pirate shortstop. Is from Thousand Oaks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good pull.
That was a deep dive.
He was my second favorite Pirates middle infielder of that era behind Freddie Sanchez.
Freddie Sanchez, who won the won a batting title.
With half a foot.
With half a foot. We got him from Boston. I can't remember who we traded for Freddie Sanchez, but it was a robbery.
Yeah, that was right before I started really, really paying attention. Yeah.
And Freddie, I was at games and saw Freddie. Boy, he could swing that bat, man. He would just won a batting title in Pittsburgh. No one remembers Freddie Sanchez. Freddie, are you watching? Get Freddie on the show. So what else? What else is going on? This Pac-12 championship is right down the street. I know you're a big Southwest Conference fan. Mountain West. Damn it, Mountain West.
Close enough.
Damn it. So let's talk about Mountain West action.
Yeah,
because that's where it's UNLV's in the Mountain West.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend logistically at Allegiant Stadium because Friday night at 5:00 is the Pac-12 game, and they've sold Allegiant out. 60,000 plus are going to be in the house when Oregon takes on Washington. I like the Huskies plus 9.5 in that one. And then turn around at noon the next day, Mountain West Championship. And it is because the Pac-12, obviously a neutral site, this is the first year for the Mountain West that they're doing the top team plays the second top team, no divisions. We're starting to see a lot of conferences go away from divisions, get their, quote-unquote best teams and potential bigger bowls. So it is not a neutral site. UNLV is the host, and it kind of tells you what the expectation was preseason as far as who was going to play in this game. They certainly did not think UNLV. So it's a really crazy logistical challenge, but they're going to turn around and play the next day. And Boise State opened, I think it was a 2.5 point
It was around
favorite,
2. I think it was 2 yesterday,
something
somewhere
like
around there.
that. And it's going to be really interesting. They just announced all of the Mountain West yearly awards while we were on the air, actually. I was taking a look behind the glass, and you've got the conference's Offensive Player of the Year, and Ashton Genty, who is one of the top running backs in the country. He's for Boise State. He's one of the top running backs that no one's talking about.
Yeah, he'll play on Sunday for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I watched him.
Absolutely. He is a stud. UNLV, though, has the conference's Special Teams Player of the Year, Jose Pisano, the kicker, the Freshman of the Year in Jaden Mayava, the quarterback who stepped in, and Barry Odom, who I think, I'm a little biased, but he's my pick for National Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
if it's
really
not him
yeah.
or Jerry Kill of New Mexico State, who had a very similar turnaround in the same amount of time, about a year, it's going to be one of those two for National Coach of the Year. But this matchup in Vegas this weekend should be really interesting. UNLV lost to San Jose State, kind of backed their way in the last game of the regular season, and Boise State fired their coach, Andy Avalos, in the middle of the year.
So many firings in the past couple of weeks.
Their top receiver, Eric McAllister, just quit the team when that firing happens, and then all of a sudden Boise State goes like this. So, kind of cutting some of that dead weight in the middle of the year.
Now, the reason that kid quit the team, is there something is it with Connor Bedard? Is this kid also? Is this why?
It's the college level. They don't have as much access to moms.
Well, we didn't say it. We're just looking at rumors online, ladies and gentlemen. We're just looking at rumors. Excuse me. You said casually, real quickly, you said you like Washington plus the points against Oregon.
I do.
Now, my buddy Christian, who watches the show, UW alum, he's like, this is the worst number 3 team in the country I've ever seen. He's like, I don't know how they won the Apple Cup because of Grady Gross, who they put on scholarship after, which was a great story. He's like, Oregon is going to kill us. And this is a guy who bleeds purple, but he's like, I don't see how we stay in this game, but 9.5's a lot of. I was shocked at the line when they told me live the other day. I was like, 9.5, right?
Me too. I used to actually work behind the counter at Westgate over the Superbook, and I got a group chat of a couple of my buddies there, and we were talking before that line opened up, and we were all kind of in a consensus 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And then I think it opened like 8.5.
Yeah.
And Oregon took a
I think
bunch
Chris
of money
had
early,
it at 10. I think he had it at 10.
I remember him saying that. Yeah. So it's interesting getting different people's thoughts on this game and in particular. And I think with this one, it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Washington wins, but I think they're able to keep it close.
Yeah.
Or
touchdown. Yeah.
It's tough to beat a 30-year-old 20th-year quarterback in Bo Nix. I think he's actually, 25 and 7th year?
He's got how many career starts? It's over 60.
He's the all-time leader.
I know. He's the all-time leader. And that's what I thought, because I'm like, I think it's at like 60. If you can look up, Ryan, how many Bo Nix starts. And for a quarterback to break that record, which I don't know, it seems like you'd have to play 15 games a year for 4 years. I mean, it's just insane.
Well,
and then COVID year.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The COVID year kind of messed up some of those
Yeah.
volume statistics for a lot of guys because they got the free year. We're seeing that in basketball, especially because second-time transfers are so much more prevalent in college basketball. I mean, I forget I think George Mason had a guy who was 27 years old, and they denied his waiver. And somebody posted a clip from Oprah where she was telling someone to get a damn job. And I thought that fit very well in that.
27. How many starts?
Nix is up to 59.
59. So it'll be 60.
Wow.
It'll be 60 this Friday here at Allegiant Stadium. Or Friday. It's Friday.
That's Friday night at 5 local. Yeah.
60 starts. I mean, that's just unheard of. So I don't know. That's going to be a great game. I'm wondering, I haven't been to Allegiant yet, but is there a bathroom? Is there a nook and cranny where after the game you could hide out, stay the night, and then just sleep there and then stay for the next game?
I'm sure there is. I've stayed late. I would say later than the average person calling some of these games, and you're on there for post game, breaking down gear. So I've been able to stay in kind of late. That's a long time. I don't know. I'm sure it's a big enough stadium.
Yeah, I mean, it looks massive.
Somewhere. You could find somewhere.
But it's going to be hopping here because I've already seen Oregon jerseys and a few Washington jerseys trickling here at the South Point, where you can just come and watch the game right down the street here at the South Point. The sports book's going to be hopping as it always is. And then any NFL, who's your NFL team?
The Patriots.
You're a Patriots guy. Yeah. So that's are they phoning this in? Are they tanking? What are they doing? What is Belichick doing? And is he there next year?
I don't think anyone knows, including him.
Yeah.
He's obviously earned the right to do whatever he wants and stay for however long he wants, but I just don't know what is going on with the quarterback situation. If you're going to suck with one guy.
My God, I know that, and even that in the post-game conference, they're like, I don't know. Coach said he was pulling me. I was like, all right, fine. I mean, like Mac Jones just looks defeated. Bailey's. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in that top 5.
Yeah, and this is the year for it. If you're going to suck,
if you're going to suck,
this is the year for it.
Suck in 2023.
It was a light quarterback draft last year. It's heavier in terms of franchise-changing guys this year, and that's exactly what the Patriots need. They're going to get a top 3 pick. If they don't take a quarterback, Frank, we riot.
Right, we riot. And what we riot. And are they dogs? Who are they playing this week? Who's New England got?
Chargers.
They got the Chargers. Chargers are 6. -6 in New England.
600?
6. No, they're
Oh, okay.
well,
600 to pass.
The Chargers, who by the way are not a good team, and this could, I don't know if Brandon Staley if Brandon Staley loses that game, he's not on the plane back from Boston.
I don't think he deserves it.
No, he does not. He's on his way to Logan. They're like, hey, Brandon, I think you left something back at the hotel. No, I got everything. Go back to the hotel, Brandon, because, I mean, this poor guy who is a defensive guy, and he's just, I don't know. I watch a lot of Chargers action because, I watch Chargers and Rams in L.A. after the Steeler games, but I don't know.
Speaking of, a little tie-in here,
Yeah.
UNLV, there's a very good chance that they're playing at SoFi Stadium for the LA Bowl on the 16th. That's the bowl that they're projected to, although they're projected either against USC or UCLA. So it's going to be pretty much a true road game.
Is that the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl?
It is.
Is it the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl? Well, that would be a good game, but I just can't believe it's just so weird seeing New England 6-point dogs at home. Thank you, Matt. And speaking of dogs, one more shout out. I just want to thank everybody who's been contributing. I have 2 rescue dogs, and we're doing this fundraiser for them. It's you go to on Venmo, Expedition Online. There they are. That's Marty on the left, and that's Scooby in the middle, crunching his face. And then there's Marty. If you could help, you got to put in the description at Team Start, hashtag Team Start. If you could do that for me, that would be great. Once again, happy birthday to Courtney. Happy birthday, Jarvis Landry, born on the same exact day.
And Marc-Andre Fleury.
What's that again? And Marc-Andre Fleury. I don't know how that one slipped by me. He went 5-hole on me and got that one through. I can't believe I missed that.
Goalie went 5-hole.
Goalie went 5-hole on me. Yeah, and he's one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, what have we learned today on the show? We've learned that Josh Yohe, Bill Neofus, and I are probably going to go see Carrot Top, haven't we? Anything you take from today's show, Ryan?
We got a lot more live comments today.
Yeah? Throw a few out real quick.
Well, Joey B was wondering what you think of Colorado State in basketball this year.
They were ranked for the first time yesterday. Really, really solid. Isaiah Stevens leads the country in assists per game, and I think that, we talked about Ashton Genty, a Mountain West guy that's going to play on Sundays next year. Isaiah Stevens will be a first-round, potentially even a lottery pick in the NBA draft this upcoming year. He is a stud. He's the best distributor in college basketball.
Wow. Any other live comments?
Joey B also loved your toss and onion.
Chris, I don't know if you've been, but there's this place Outback. It's unbelievable.
They don't have them in L.A.?
No, I didn't know I thought they just in Vegas. Wait, what?
You didn't know Outback's a
what? Oh, come on. That's acting. Of course I do. If I'm going to have a steak, I'm going to the Silverado right there because I'm not allowed into Michael's yet. I haven't earned my way into Michael's Steakhouse here at South Point. But the Salvarado Steakhouse is amazing. Salvarado.
Have you salivated?
Well, that's with my accent. Yeah, Salvarado. So I've said Silverado 3 times, Chris. I've said it right every time. Ryan, anything? Matt, have you learned anything from today's show?
Apparently, Carrot Top has more fans than I expected.
Carrot Top is huge. And anything back there behind the glass? No.
I wasn't listening.
She wasn't listening.
In one ear, out the other.
Anyway, once again, thank you to Dominic and Trafford for watching the show live. We appreciate it. Sports by the Book is off, so you can rewatch our show one more time. What the hell? It was a great show. Thank you to Josh Yohe, who's always amazing, our first 3-timer. And don't forget, here in Vegas, we want to thank Steiner's and Oasis, which I will be stopping into, guys, soon. We appreciate you watching the show. If you're a bar or restaurant, want to watch the show, let us know. We'll give you a shout-out. We appreciate it. That's it. Go Penguins. Go Knights. How about that? Tomorrow we're back with another new show live in Nevada. Lines live in Nevada.
Every show.